Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure on this auspicious occasion to introduce the star of our show. There'll be better, there'll be worse, but there'll never be another. You've seen him in so many movies, too numerous to mention. Man who was allegedly supposed to resort to, shall we say, venereal material and single entendre. Bless his soul. I love him so much because you know who it is? It's me. B.S. Pully. Thank you very much. All right, your ass straight. Let me get ready. All the broads have been shaved already. They get all prepared like they're going on a hike. The reason I got two mics is I got two heads. Ladies and gentlemen, may I say first, welcome to the newly decorated Copacabana Annex toilet. Take that out of your mouth. Take that out of your mouth, you rat bastard. Don't look nice. Very rude. This is the Maisonette. This is a high-class pearl diver room. We have a nice crowd here tonight. Of course, this mob is nothing. You should have seen the mob we had last night. And he was a real nice fella, too. See, we have a few empty tables over there. They're reserved for New Year's Eve. We don't get a real crowd till late. February, March. And now for the finale of my show. You must forgive me, I just woke up, and it's pretty tough to wake up at this hour and eat farina. Helen Farina. I also woke up with a heartache. You thought I was going to say a heartburn, eh, Jack? I could say one word and turn this room into a bowling alley. But I promised the boss no more venereal material. I remember I closed up 33 nightclubs in my career. I mean 32, this didn't go yet. It wasn't my fault, but I used to work. The bands played dirty music. I mean, like a putz, I took the rap. I was a putz rapper. Things are rough all over. Even the prostitutes are giving away green stamps. You know about the prostitute who was down and out? She said to her friend, will you loan me $20 till I get on my ass again? I love all the short stories. I love all short stories. I hate long stories. I liked the one about the fella that got into a taxi cab and there was a girl driving the cab and he said to her, listen, take me to the cheapest cat house in town. She said, you're in it. Oh, this is nothing. I wish I was here in person. I liked the one about the two sharks in the ocean. One shark said to the other, he said, hey, my ass burns. The other one said, I told you not to eat that Mexican. I once bought a book called The Kinsey Report. Cost me $6.50 to find that I'm a degenerate. After the show, I put a dress on and I solicit. They call me Beatrice the Nibbler. I'm too smart for the room. We had a guy come in here the other night with a diner's card. He ate 11 broads. He would have eaten the 12th one, but she ate the diner's card. His name was Harry Dinerstad from Trent. Now, I really mean after this show, I'm going to play Greenwich Village Roulette. You heard of Russian roulette, one bullet in the gun? Well, Greenwich Village Roulette is they put you in a dark room with 6 fairies. One is a cannibal. I like the one about the fella who swam the English Channel. Took him 58 hours to swim there and 12 seconds to come back. His jockstrap got caught. I belong to the CIO, CIO, CIO. I belong to the CIO. Whoever I CIO. Whoever I CIO. I had a dream. Not that kind, I ain't that lucky. I had a dream that Jane Mansfield was my mother, and I was a bottle baby. I had a dream that 5 horses were jumping over 5 hurdles. So I awoke in the morning, it was 5 minutes after 5. I went to the racetrack, and got on a bus, was number 5. When I got to the racetrack, I went to the window, was number 5. So I bought 5 tickets at number 5, came in 5th. I'll never tell another clean story as long as I live. I want to tell you one thing. Always remember what Mark Twain said many years ago. Do unto others and screw. How many of you people have seen the picture Hole in the Head? Next year I'm going to do a sequel to it, Head in a Hole, starring Belle Bart. See, I work here on a percentage basis. I lose money every night, but it don't mean nothing. I have a furnished room upstairs with a fat broad. Used to be a bohemian glass blower. And she plays an instrument yet. She has an antenna on her keister. She likes to eat bamboo shoots in the toilet. And she used to know the Ubangi lesbian. And I call her Satellite. She thinks her keister is out of this world. This fat broad upstairs happens to have a sister that's laying in a cemetery. Sometimes she wishes she was dead. And she's upstairs with a Chinaman for 2 weeks. I don't know, he must have a hell of an egg roll. I mean a bankroll. I can't stay too long. I have to do a show for the Parents and Teachers Association. And if you don't think they like it, believe me, they scream, they love it. I also recite poetry to children. And these little bastards, they laugh, they laugh, they laugh. Talking about kids, who's that little kid that's with Dick Tracy? He always tells Dick Tracy who the thieves are. The little boy, what's his name? Junior, yeah, there's a rat bastard for you. If it wasn't for him, this place would have been mobbed. You remember the mole, Oliver Shulam? Abanama BBI's flat top Mumbles 88 keys? Mumbles had a piece of this place, whatever her name was. And my cousin, B.O. Plenty, married to that broad, Gravel Dirty. They have a little kid, Sparkles. Turn her upside down, she looks like a toilet plunger. Now, the reason I'm on stage is we have 30 broads here. Not dirty, 30. Except in February, which only has 28. And we only have 2 barbers shaving these broads. Except the fat broad, for her we use a lawnmower. And for the finale, I'm going to bring the broad on the stage, I'm going to milk her. As I pull on her udders, the band will play Where Art Thou, Sylvia. The picture, honey, suck my cousin's nose. Almost blew the line, almost blew the joint. Gotta carry on, always carry on, never stop. I'd like to tell one of my favorite stories. This is a story about a defendant who came up in front of a judge, and the court attendant said, Your Honor, this defendant is charged with raping a corpse 6 times. The judge said, repeat that, repeat that. The court attendant said, Your Honor, this defendant is charged with raping a corpse 6 times. The judge looked down at the defendant. He said, You know, if it was up to me, not only will I hang you, I will also send you to the electric chair. But being an American, I must ask you what you have to say for yourself before a sentence is pronounced. What have you got to say for yourself? The little defendant looked up at the judge. He said, Your Honor, first of all, it wasn't 6 times, it was 3 times. Second of all, it wasn't a stranger, it was my wife. And third of all, he said, who the hell knew she was dead? She always laid like that. Because you know, I'm smoking a cigarette. You heard about cigarettes, it's supposed to give you cancer. There's a new cigarette company out now, and their slogan is, cancer is good for you. And I'm smoking a filter tip. Whoever smokes a filter tip will kiss at the Zoom through a nightgown. Then there's going to be another cigarette out which has no tobacco and it just filters. But you get a hernia puffing. We got a broad later on, she's got 3 bazooms. What do you want me to say? We got a broad with 3 others. A broad with 3 others is 4 broads. Broad with 3 bazooms. Works here, she has 1 on her back. It looks awkward, but it's nice when you dance with her. Everybody resents the white, the way they blush. You say the word kid every day, you don't even know you say it. If you miss a bus or a cab, you say, tit, 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 tit. What are you going to say? Ara, 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 ara. Get smart, leave your head down. That's why I like to work in these joints. I'm comfortable. The boss found out that the guy in the toilet made $38. So tomorrow he's throwing a bar out, he's putting in 6 more toilets. That's what I call a smart man. I asked him for a raise yesterday, he gave me 2 French postcards. Only one worked. Didn't have better off dead. I finally got lucky today at the racetrack. I got a ride home. It was an anniversary for me at the racetrack. 23 years today, I didn't see a cashier's window. But I got a horse that's drawn Monday. I clocked him this afternoon. He did a half hour and 22 minutes. Of course, he was wearing a truss. And Spirit up through over those hurdles with 1 killoon. Do you know what a killoon is? Ball. And I went to the water and said, what the hell is he talking about? We got her brought later on. She's got 2 of the biggest coconuts. So one day she ain't got a hernia walking around with these watermelons. I only wish the horses I bet on had one of them for a nose. They give you a description of a race. Instead of winning by a nose, won by a presume. That's what I like. Happy days. Joey Lewis always says, post time, right? I drink because I got the result. The dirtiest thing I saw the other day, I repeated. Fidel Castro eating a banana. I love that line. Tonight is a celebrity night. We have these lovely girls, and I'm going to introduce the barber that shaves these broads. Who the hell did you expect to see here? Somerset Morgan, the Minuet. That's why I like the organ these joints. I'm comfortable. And I said to the bartender, remember, crime don't pay, but the hours are beautiful. I remember when I was 4 days old, I had no teeth. I cried like a baby. There's a smart line. I grew up, I was 29 years old. I was in the 2nd grade. I would have been in the 3rd grade, but I was sick. Everybody talked about the little red schoolhouse. Mine was blue, because the kid that used to fill the inkwells was cockeyed. And you know how I got the part in the Broadway show in the movie Guys and Dolls? I used to hustle dice. That was my racket. I remember one time I had 4 dice in my hands, and as accidents will happen, the 4 dice slipped out and I made 4 fours. I said to myself, here's where I'd get killed, but nothing happened, and I thought very fast. I said, okay, fellas, 16 is the point. And I made it. And there were a 5 and a 3, a 3 and a half, and a 4 and a half. Once I made it the hard way with a 15, a third, a third, and a third. I was 44 years old when I was bar mitzvah. If there's anybody here would like to send up a delayed envelope, don't hesitate. And I remember 4 days old, and I kept crying. And then they said, why are you crying, Bethlehem? That's my right name. I was named after a town where my sister was indicted. I said, I'm crying because I have to make sissy. I have to make wet. Wee-wee. It does up our pission. And I want you to walk out and say, what the hell is he talking about? So the nurse, she took me to the toilet. It looked something like this place. I think this was the place. When she got me there, she said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to make sissy. So the nurse took out my Rodney. You're not allowed to use the word putz on a Saturday. And I started to make sissy. While I was making sissy, the seat fell on my Rodney. And it hurt, and I started to cry. So the nurse, to console me, started to pet my Rodney. 1 finger was enough. She ad-libbed with 2 fingers. And I looked at the nurse, I said, kiss it. She said, you and your father should both drop dead. Because you're nobody. Till somebody loves you. You see a lot of men that come here that want to see the broads with the bazooms, with the humantage. You girls don't know how lucky you're going to be next year. I'm going to open a nightclub. Instead of having the girls come out doing the strip, I'm going to have the men come out doing the strip. They will all come out showing their Rodneys. Some will have tattoos with propellers that look like dirigibles. With candy stripes, with halava, with nuts. Yummy, yummy. Which is the M&M. Oh. Jewish holidays, I'll have them with betas and little yarmulkes. I'll have a salami hanging outside. He has Pully's Rodney in. I remember when the elevator door was about to close. Just got into the elevator. As I did, my elbow hit a lady in the breast. And I said, gee, miss, I'm awful sorry. Please forgive me. I said, you know something? If your heart is as soft as your breast, you must be a wonderful person. She said, you know something? If your rotten is as hard as your elbow, I'm in room 324. I used to kiss her on the face, but now it's all over. For I'm as restless as a pansy in the toilet. My mama told me zets when I was a wee tad zets. My mama told me, Putz, you're still playing horses. Down, I'm on the shelter in palms, my honey, wait for me. I said, wait for me. Now, baby, how my heart is yearning, yearning, yearning. How I wish this joint was burning, burning, burning. Took me down. I'm out of this. It'd be nice if you don't have no tape in that there thing to make you red. Lord, what the hell are you worried about? Well, we finally got a little room here tonight. And may I say, we have a rumba band at the bar. Welcome to the new upholstered manhole of 58th Street, where we present nightly venereal material. This took place on a farm. There was a high barbed wire fence. On one side was a brown cow, on the other side was a bull. So the brown cow said to the bull in cow language, "Meh," which means I'm ready, make your move. The bull said, I cannot jump over the barbed wire fence, it's too high. And the cow said, "Meh, meh," which means hurry up, I'm desperate. So the bull jumped over the barbed wire fence, minus his Rodney. And he said, how now, brown cow? I like that story. This is one of my favorite stories about the two brothers who went fishing. They both threw their lines out into the lake. And one brother pulled the line and it was a fish. And he threw the line out again and he pulled it in, it was another fish. It seemed that every time this brother threw the line out, he pulled in a fish. I think he caught about 106 fish. He says to his brother Joe, come on, we'll go home, we got plenty of fish. So they both went home. This brother didn't catch any of the other one, you know. They went to bed, and in the middle of the night, the one that didn't catch any fish, he said to himself, I know what I'll do. I'll go out to the lake all by myself, and I'll catch all the fish. So he went out there about 5 in the morning. He waited 10 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, nothing nibbled on the line. He was good and disgusted. He pulled the line in. He was about to walk away, good and dejected and disgusted. He heard somebody yell, apes. He turned around, and what did he saw? A fish had his head up out of the water. And he said to the fish, what the hell do you want? The fish said, hey, where's your brother? I'll never tell another clean story, you rat bastards, as long as I live. There's going to be a dirty punchline, right? See, the reason I do that story is I get you prepared for the kill. Like the moron story. The moron knocked on the door, and the woman opened the door, and he said to her, your name is B. Schwartz? She said, yes. He said, you used to live on 9th Street? She said, yes. He said, you had an abortion? She said, yes. He said, you threw it in the toilet? She said, yes. He said, mama. That's what you like, the word mama, right? And this is the story I gotta tell because I can't wait till I hear the story myself. I wait every night to tell this story. A story about this fellow who was sick. Had plenty of money, but he was sick. He had 5 nurses taking care of him. So one day, the doctor looked at the chart and saw this man was about to die. So he said to these 5 nurses, listen, give this man a rub down. Who knows, maybe like Custer's last stand, he might come to life. So these 5 nurses, they rubbed him down, And you know the way nurses are, they see everything. As they rubbed him down, they saw his Rodney. It had a tattoo on it that said Shorty. Sure enough, at night, the daddy came to life. So to show his appreciation, he wanted to take out these 5 nurses, but they wouldn't want to know what the Bumby does. They know what he had. He had a small Rodney with a tattoo that said Shorty. But one nurse felt sorry for him, and she went out with him. The next day, she came back to the hospital. She was so happy. These other 4 nurses, they said to one another, what the hell makes us so happy? After all, we know what that fella had. He had a small Rodney with a tattoo that said Shorty. So the other nurse said, why don't you ask her? They said, listen, honey, what makes you so happy? She said, you know that man I went with last night? He had a small Rodney with a tattoo that said Shorty. She said, when it got aroused, it said Shorty's Pizzeria and Delicatessen Store. We deliver in the morning, we deliver at night. Our phone numbers are 404-3321. At night it's Vanderbilt 20400. We also bake on the premises. When in New Jersey, called Biloxi 2. How far do you want me to know what this guy's schmuck? Because you're nobody till somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. Thank you very much. See, my head hurts every time I use toilet water. The seat hits me on the head. And talking about toilets, the guy that worked in the toilet last night, he quit. He was here for 9 years. He quit last night. He couldn't stand the smell from the kitchen. And the guy that's in the kitchen is working in the toilet. So if you order any food, hearty appetite. As hot as a bastard up here, that fat broad must be cooking for the Chinaman again. What is more embarrassing than we're looking through a keyhole to see another eye? It's too smart for this room, right? You know about the fly that walked on the mirror? He said, that's another way of looking at it. I call on a small bookmaker. I say, hello, let me have 2 cents win, 2 cents place. Huh? You can't handle it. I called Chicago, called St. Louis, called Detroit. You're loaded, you can't move nothing. Let me have a penny to show. Yeah, 1 penny to show. What do you want? You want a penny to show? Hello, make that a separate sheet. Okay, insure it. A time bet by your bum, it's 9 in the morning, the rest of it 4 o'clock. Or you give us time till 2 o'clock to bring the money over. Listen, bookmaker, tell me, how's your wife? I'd like to have her come in here and have a drink, yes. I'd like to do to her what you've been doing to me. Across the board. Or your sister's hammock. Hello, operator. I know I was cut off, but it shouldn't affect my hearing. Now I know I went crazy. I'm starting to hear somebody really talking to me. Hello, operator, let me have the delicatessen. Hello, Seymour. Do you take urine analysis there? I said, do you take urine analysis there? Wash your hands, you rat bastard, and bring the sandwich. So long, pal. See, I always said one thing in life. Whiskey hits the sex brain. I know a lot of people that come in here, they're sober. Good evening, Mr. Pully. How are you? They put on the charm. Give them 2 drinks. Where's the broads? And we got a lot of foot trappers coming here, too. Pearl drivers. And nibblers. Did you hear the story about this man who was 79 years old and he had a son that was 18? And they took an automobile ride through the country. And one night they stopped at a motel. And in the middle of the night, the old man said to the kid, hurry up. Hurry up, son, get me a girl, get me a girl. The kid said, Daddy, what's the matter? You're blowing your top? He said, don't you talk that way to your father. Hurry up, do what I tell you, get me a girl. The son said, Daddy, there's 3 reasons why you cannot have a girl. First of all, look how old you are. Second of all, I know what's on your mind. And third of all, what's in your hand is mine. I thought I would just throw that in for a little innuendo. Right now, I wish I was in the outskirts of Honolulu. I don't have to worry about creditors calling me up. I owe people money, I don't deny it. I owe 2 people money, the Jews and the Gentiles. I wish I was on this little island in the nude with the soft breezes caressing my cheeks. Just walking around in the nude. while I'm reading the racing form. Did you hear the one about the nudist camp? This fellow walked around with a beard below his knees, and somebody said, "What the hell, he got the beard?" He said, "Somebody's got to go out for coffee." My putz has been gone since 1932. There's a guy, at least people ask, you say, "How do you feel? How's your family?" This guy asks, "How's my schmuck?" From one schmuck to another. Hey, I want to tell you something, Jack. I take money from people, but not from everybody. A stranger can't walk up to me and say, "Here, Pully, here's $2,000. Who the hell knows him? I only take money from people that I like. And little do you know what a friendship I'm about to warm up with you. Who's this broad over here? I can't recognize her. She's wearing her clothes. I'd like that all juvenile delinquents coming to see me on a Saturday night. You're quite welcome. How far do you want to go now? I'd like to tell a story about a little girl. She said to her mother, "Mommy, where do I come from?" And the mother said, "You sweet thing, why, you come from a sugar bowl." And the next day the little girl saw her daddy. She said, Daddy, I know where I come from. Mommy told me where I come from." Answer the phone. Maybe the fat boy upstairs wants more towels. And the little girl said, "Mommy told me where I come from." And the old man said, "Where do you come from?" And the little girl said, "Mommy said I come from a sugar bowl." And he said, "That's about the size of it." This girl was a secretary. She worked for a boss for 19 years. She was madly in love with him, but he never knew that she loved him. So one day she said to him, "John," he was named after a toilet. She said, "John, I'd like you to be my guest tonight for dinner." He said, "Well, what's the occasion, pray tell Mary?" That was the broad's name, Mary. Her first name was Pray Tell. She said, "Well, John, it happens to be your birthday." He said, "You know something? Mary, just for being so considerate and remembering, I'm going to take you up on your invitation." So she took him to a beautiful little restaurant. They had a wonderful dinner, a few after-dinner drinks. Then she said, "John, how about coming up to the apartment for a few drinks?" Who far? Who far backwards is for who? So he said, "I don't mind." He went to her apartment. She had a cute little apartment with a little bar, and she had 2 bottles of whiskey. She said, "Look, John, you start to drink, I'll go in the bedroom and I'll get ready." He started to drink, and whiskey always hits the sex brain. He said to her, "Mary, are you ready now?" She said, "No, not yet, John." And he kept drinking. He said, "Mary, are you ready now?" She said, "No, not yet." Now, in the meantime, he's starting to unrobe. This robe is for girls. Now he was in the N-U-D-E. And good and drunk, he said, "Mary, are you ready now?" She said, "Yes, John, now I'm ready." Good and drunk, he staggered over to the bedroom. He opened up the door, and there she was with 14 people that worked for him in the office, and they all started to sing, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you." John, they caught him with his Rodney hanging out. This man died, and his wife came to visit him in a funeral home, and there he was dressed up in a brown suit, and she got so insulted. She was so mad. She said, "Aren't you ashamed of yourself in a brown suit? The least you could do is have a little respect. Have him laid out in a blue suit, a black suit." She said, "I'm coming back in 10 minutes, and you better have him laid out in a black suit or a blue suit." She went away. She came back 10 minutes later, and there he was, laid out in a black suit. She said, "Well, at least that's a little more respectful. Tell me, what did you do? Take one of the suits off the other stiffs?" He said, "No, I switched heads." I teach horticulture, which is no dirty word yet. Do you people know how to tell the difference between a California orange and a flowered orange? You don't know. You see, I teach these things. To tell the difference between a California orange and a flowered orange, if you suck an orange and it sucks back, it's from California. I love everybody here, all the introverts. I hate this. You laugh like this here. You're afraid to laugh loud to fear you might draw the attention from your neighbor. And the neighbor's the same way. In the meantime, nobody laughs at me like a schmuck, I die. Leave your head on how far do you want to go. Horticulture. It's about flowers. I've been around with pansies, fatala, switch hitters. You know how to tell the difference between a male shrimp and a female shrimp? Nobody knows. You eat shrimp every day. Shrimp cocktail, shrimp double action marinara. To tell the difference between a male shrimp and a female shrimp, you take a handful of shrimp and you throw them against the wall. And the ones that yell, ouch, my coldunes, those are the males. Thank you for the clap, the applause. Hello? Hello. Let me have the Shelburne Hotel. He checked out? All right, then let me have the Teresa. Hello, Teresa Hotel. He went back to Cuba? Hello, operator, give me long distance. Hello, Cuba. Let me talk to Fidel. Yeah, Fidel Castro. Hello, Fidel. What happened to you? We have 14 chickens here. We're waiting for you to pluck them. Pluck the chickens, you rat bastard. Pluck them. How's Kushala? I want to wish you all a happy heart attack, you rat bastards. Nothing stands up for me, but I got a certain pill that I use. You have to swallow it fast or else you get a stiff neck. Our house was on fire, and all the girls ran out of the house. One girl had all the towels under her arm, and the madam said, "What the hell are you doing?" She said, "I'm saving the books." Oh, I can't do that now. No, that's too suggestive. This is off guard. You know what about the Texan that came to New York looking for a job? He went to these agencies, and there was a little girl. She didn't even look at him. She says, "What's your name?" He says, "Harry Smith." He said, "How tall are you?" He said, 6'4". He said, "How old?" He says, 22. He said, "I'm looking for a job, lady." She said, "I know, just wait till I keep questioning you." She says, "What size shoe do you wear?" He said, 16. Oof. Now you heard of the story, the size of your shoe? She said, "Not to get personal, tell me, what size is your Rodney?" He said, 4 inches. She said, "Why, you bum, we got kids in the 2nd grade better than that." He said, "What, in diameter?" Brian once did a picture for a French company, which since then have been indicted. What a beautiful scene this was. It took place in a bedroom. All I wore was a high hat and a mustache. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They made me wear socks. It was censored, you know. And this broad, all she wore was a mask. She didn't want her mother to know what she's doing for a living. Her mother thought she was selling dope or hustling chick beans, whatever you do. And the name of the picture was, let me see if I remember. Oh, yeah, The Nibbler at Work. Or The Pearl Diver Returns. Or The Foot Trapper Strikes Again. No, or Somebody Down There Loves Me. I remember when Central Park was a place where you go to admire the beautiful trees and smell green earth. Today it's competition to the Simmons Mattress Company. Everybody's there dipping a sausage. Keep talking. I know you can see me from here. I'm warming up your lunch. All right, how far do you want to go now, you female rat bastard? I'll see you later. So long, Billboard.